Today on What It's Like, 2022 Ford Maverick. Super stoked to show you all the ins and outs of this all-new truck offered by Ford. But first, a special thanks to Phil Fitz Ford in Newcastle, PA for making this Maverick review possible. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned Ford or Lincoln, check them out at philfitzford.com, link in the description below. Okay, before we get started today talking about the all-new for 2022 Ford Maverick, a bit of an overview. Depending on what era you guys grew up in, if you grew up in the 70s, you might recall the Ford Maverick being a car. And that's totally correct. The Ford Maverick was produced from 1970 to 1977 in car format. I didn't grow up in the 70s. I wasn't even a twinkle in my dad's eye. I was born tail end of the 80s. But if you mention, hey, I just reviewed the all-new Maverick pickup truck, people from the 70s era look at you funny, like, what do you mean pickup truck? Maverick was a car. Well, it was a car, and now it's a light-duty pickup truck. Maverick's kind of a vehicle with an identity crisis. Anyway, a lot of car YouTubers slash automotive journalists will compare the new Maverick to the original Subaru Baja when comparing this and the Santa Cruz because they're all kind of sort of the same. But that's not really where the story starts. This isn't the first time Ford has offered 3 half-ton truck options. With Ford bringing back the Ranger and now offering the Maverick, they somehow have gone full circle, and most of the automotive community isn't even talking about it. People tend to forget, but back in the 70s, Ford and Mazda had a partnership program going on where the Mazda B-Series truck was shipped to the US as a cab and chassis to avoid a 25% chicken tax that was placed on all small import trucks at the time. Ford then built the Mazda B-Series truck here in the US of A and rebadged it as the Ford Courier. I'm sorry, I have a speech impediment problem and I can't say that word that great, so don't make fun of me. Ford offered 3 trucks in the half-ton category, the Courier, the Ranger, and the F-150. So they've gone full circle. Now they offer 3 trucks in the half-ton category. Now the Maverick, the Ranger, and the F-150. The point I'm trying to make is Ford did it before, and it didn't take hold, but this time it's totally different. For example, this truck is so hard to find, and the hybrid is even harder to find. And the awesome news is this one is one of the hybrids. Sales rep said, this is one of 9 that was for sale nationwide. But this was a week ago and it's probably gone. But just to be sure, you could go to philfitzford.com, check their inventory to see if it's actually still there or not. I'm venturing to say that it's probably gone. But they also had a 2-liter FX4 just to the left. It's all covered in ice. We got hit with a major ice storm 2 days before I shot this video. Okay, let's talk 2022 Ford Maverick. I honestly love the styling of this truck. Even though it's only got a 4.5-foot bed, it looks proportionately correct. Some trucks, like the new Toyota Tacoma with the Super Crew, with the Super Cab or whatever you want to call it, Crew Cab is what it's called, with the 5-foot bed, it doesn't look proportionately correct. It actually looks really silly, in my opinion. Just look at that short bed in comparison to the rest of the truck. The Maverick doesn't have that look. It looks proportionately correct. People might hate me for this comment, but the Maverick looks like if the Nissan Frontier and the Honda Ridgeline had a kid. That's if you were going to say, what does the Maverick look like? That's what it looks like to somebody that's never seen it before. What do you guys think about the Ford Maverick styling in the comment section below? Okay, making our way aft to the rear end or the bed section of the truck. We've already mentioned that it's a 4.5-foot bed. You could carry up to 1,500 pounds of payload, and payload just is the term referring to the amount of weight that the bed can hold. Before we talk more about the bed, I want to just make one point here. A lot of automotive journalists have made this a complaining point about talking about the rear brake lights, that they're big, that they're chunky. This is a small truck. You want to show people that you're stopped when you're stopped. I personally don't think that the lights are disproportionate with the rest of the truck. I think that they look great. I think they look adequate for the design. Have you seen the Jeep Gladiator? For those that don't know, that's the Jeep truck. Those lights are very boxy and rectangular, and they protrude outward. No lie, this is an image that shows that you could have guards around your taillights for your Jeep Gladiator so that your taillights don't get scratched because they stick out. But nobody complains about these. Okay, back to the Maverick and its 4-foot bed. Ford claims that you can haul up to 18 sheets of 4x8 plywood or drywall with the thickness of 3/4 of an inch thick without angling them into the bed. There are also 6 tie down points in the bed so you don't lose your load all over the freeway like I did once. It sucked, and I wouldn't recommend it. Top tip of the day, always tie your stuff down so you don't lose it all over the freeway. Okay, 2 little Easter eggs I want to talk about in this bed. Towards the bulkhead or where the rear window is on the truck, there's these little drain holes. That's a really nice feature. If you have to hose out the bed, you don't have to worry about squeegeeing water out. You just squeegee it out to the drain holes and they do their job. And the other thing is on the tailgate, that kind of looks like the Jeep logo. I don't think they did that on purpose, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you haven't noticed already, but there's 2 small square boxes at the end of the bed, and they're actually doors to a storage compartment concealed inside the bed for smaller items. Okay, moving to under the hood next. You have to pull this lever twice, and it just releases the hood so you don't have to fish around for a secondary latch when you get up there, which is really nice. Okay, underneath the hood of our Maverick that we're reviewing today is the hybrid engine, and it's actually a 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder mated to an electric engine. And it's a big deal because it's kind of like a milestone car for Ford or anybody in the automotive industry. This is the first time any manufacturer has offered a hybrid power plant in a pickup truck as standard equipment. This power plant produces 191 horsepower. It only comes in front-wheel drive, gets better gas mileage than just about anything that's on offer right now in the US of A. 42 city, 37 combined, 33 on the highway, and it starts at $19,995 for a plain Jane XL trim model. We're going to get to the different models here in a minute. Ford also offers a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder EcoBoost engine. That's a $1,085 upcharge, makes 250 horsepower, and can be had in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is a $3,305 option. Towing. Tow package is available for both front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. If you get it on the front-wheel drive, you can only tow 2,000 pounds. So with the hybrid, you can only tow 2,000 pounds. With the 2-liter turbo, you can only pull 2,000 pounds as well. If you got the all-wheel drive package, you could pull up to 4,000 pounds with the 2-liter turbo engine. Okay, side note to the towing. I'm on a couple of different Maverick forums on Facebook, and the question was presented that what if I want to add towing later on? The tow package is $745, and it actually includes the trailer hitch receiver, as well as like the light hookup, and I guess they switched the gears in the rear end. It shows you on the chart here what gears you'll have, so it would cost you a lot more money if you did it after the fact. Okay, let's talk trim levels. There are 3 trim levels on offer. You have the XL, XLT, and the Lariat. The XL starts at $19,995. The XLT is $22,360. The Lariat is $25,860. The Lariat is the only one that has leather. The XL and the XLT have this cloth tweed style stuff that could be found in Jeremy Clarkson's living room. Okay, before we do a trim level breakdown, let's talk about the standard equipment that you get across the board. The stuff that you get for free. Everybody gets the 100A equipment group for free. What does that entail? You get the 8-inch center touch screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with standard Bluetooth connectivity. You get Ford Pass, connect with 4G, Wi-Fi hotspot, pre-collision assist with automatic braking, LED headlights. You get Ford's flex bed with 6 pickup box tie downs, multi-position tailgate, 2, count them 2, 12-volt pre-wired connections, and a configurable cargo bed slots. And finally, AM/FM radio with 6 speakers as standard equipment. Before moving on to the XLT trim, the only other option that you could get as far as packages go on the XL side is Ford Copilot 360, which is a $650 option. So while doing this, in the notes on the Ford site itself, it says that with the hybrid, there is no charge to a full-size spare Also, optional equipment, you could have a manual rear sliding window, but that's only on the XL trim only, according to the Ford website. Okay, moving on to the XLT standard equipment. You get everything from the XL Plus. So with the XLT, you get the 300A equipment group, and that includes 17-inch painted rims, gray painted grille bar, navy pure and medium gray interior with orange accents, power exterior side view mirrors, a power locking tailgate, cruise control, flex bed with 1 rear cubby storage, and 10 pickup box tie down points. As mentioned previously, you could also buy the XLT luxury package, and that includes, it's a $2,500 option. You get 8-way power driver's seat, 6-way manual passenger seat. You get a 400-watt, 110-volt inverter cab outlet with USB in the rear console, plus a bed outlet. Bed tie-down locking rails with 2 locking brackets, drop-in bed liner, full-size spare. It is standard on all hybrid models, but you have to get the luxury package to get the full-size spare. Heated mirror, same color as body color, heated seats, remote start, leather-wrapped heated steering wheel, LED lighting in the pickup box, trailer hitch with 4-pin connector. So my question is, it doesn't say anything about the gearing. So if you get the luxury package and you don't buy the tow package, you're not getting the gears to pull a heavy load? That's a question I have, because it doesn't say anything about gears here. So in the comment section below, if you know the answer to that. You also get a windshield wiper de-icer. All right, moving on to the top of the heap, final trim offered in Ford Maverick, the Lariat. Okay, this is what you get with the Lariat group. 508 package, LED headlights with halos. All the other trim levels, they don't have the halo part on top, so it doesn't look like a complete circuit. Some people have said that it actually looks very distracting not having the halos on top. Yeah, the only way that you could get that is in the Lariat package. 6.5 LCD instrument cluster, so you got the digital cluster screen behind the steering wheel, whereas you just have analog gauges and all the other trims. Intelligent access with push-button start. 8-way power seats, noise-reducing windshield, power sliding rear window, ambient lighting, flex bed with 2 rear cubby storage compartments. I think it's funny they give you the storage compartments, but you don't have access to them unless you buy the particular trim level that it needs to have access to it. Because on our tester, the storage compartments are there, but you can only get access to one of them, which I found was odd. I couldn't open the other one. I tried. You also have dual climate control. 2 additional packages on offer with the Lariat trim are the luxury package and the first edition package. The luxury package we'll go over first because you have to get that one to get the first edition package. $3,750 is the going rate for the luxury package on the Lariat. You get 4-way headrest in the front. You get the 400-watt to 110-volt inverted cab outlet with USB in the rear console with a bed outlet, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, a spray-in bed liner, bed tie-down locking rails with 2 locking brackets, B&O premium audio with 8 speakers, electronic brake boost for the 2-liter EcoBoost engine, not available on the hybrid, evasive steering, full-size spare, heated mirrors, heated seats, heated steering wheel, heated everything, key fob with a remote starter, lane centering system. You got the LED box lighting, rear parking sensors, Sirius XM, which is good for 3 months. You get a trial period of 3 months. Sync 3 enhanced voice recognition communications and entertainment system, 8-inch LCD capacity touchscreen in the center stack with swipe compatibility, 911 assist, 2 smart charging USB ports, trailer hitch with 4-pin connector, and a wireless charging pad. Okay, moving on to the first edition package. It cost $1,495. There's different configurations for different vehicles. So if you got the gas engine, the 2-liter turbo EcoBoost one, you get 17-inch unique aluminum wheels for that version only. They're on 235/65 R17 aggressive A/T tires. But if you got the hybrid, you get the 18-inch painted black wheels on 225/60 R18 A/S tires. Aside from the tires and rims, you also get a painted black roof, black mirrors, power tilting slide moonroof, a tonneau cover, unique first edition side graphic decals. So I totally forgot to include the FX4 package. The FX4 package, off-road package, is available on the XLT and the Lariat. It's an $800 package, but you need all-wheel drive, so all-wheel drive's an additional $3,305. This package includes 17-inch rims, aluminum rims on AT tires, 6.5 LCD instrument cluster, exposed front tow hooks, FX4 off-road box decals, hill descent control, additional drive modes that include sand, mud, and ruts, skid plates, heavy-duty engine cooling fan, and a heavy-duty radiator. Okay, now that that is over, let's talk about the inside. But before we do, notice there are numbers on a keypad running up the door frame on the driver's side. Those are a unique Ford feature. My '88 Lincoln had those. Ford gives a code from the factory, but you can make it whatever code you want it to be. It's a nice feature because if you're going to the beach or somewhere where keys might go missing, with this feature allows you to leave your keys, lock your keys in your car, truck, and not worry about losing them. Okay, getting inside the Ford Maverick, when I pull the door handle, notice the cutout for the whole cylinder. It moves around the cylinder. It's very unique. When you open up the door, you can see another Easter egg, built Ford Tough. This one's on the passenger side, but it's on the driver's side as well. And the only time you'll ever see that is if the door is open. The moment you step inside this interior, you realize it is very utilitarian. The material on the seats, these seats are made of like a tweed material, not like a velour material from like the 80s. So they feel different. And I love the two-tone colors that Ford chose with the navy and the slate. The orange stitching is a really nice touch. There's orange accents throughout this interior. Okay, coming back to this door panel. Just check this out. They give you a little armrest. It has a little bit of cushion there, so it's not like you're putting your arm down on a hard board or something as you're driving down the road. There's a storage, a smaller water bottle, as well as a thermos section to store your thermos. There's a speaker down there. Got some orange accents. These are just Allen wrench keys, whole things. I don't know why they did it like this. I thought that they were buttons, but for maybe like the power seats or whatever, but they're not. Up here, you got your window control switches. They're all manual. They don't go down automatically. That controls your mirrors. And then you have a window lock switch on top of the mirror control switches. You have to physically push the mirror button down, and then you could rotate it whatever way you want to. This is what the digital cluster looks like. The center of it is configurable. It tells you how many miles you have until empty, how many miles you've driven, what the temperature is outside, what direction you're heading. Okay, so the center screen's in the home or main screen. You'll see 4 seats and a seatbelt icon. This screen shows you who is buckled in and who isn't buckled in. If you have your seatbelt on, there will be a green check mark on your seat. If you're not buckled in, it'll have a red X. So then you could yell at whoever isn't buckled in to buckle up. There is no guessing on who isn't and who is with this. Okay, moving to the right, you have this control screen. It's not very big, but the interesting thing is just to the right of that, you have a little cubby hole. So I don't know if they make a bigger screen. It didn't say that you get a bigger screen in any of the other trim levels, so I'd venture to say that they don't. So this cubby situation off to the right-hand side of the screen is a very unique situation. You got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Bluetooth connectability standard on all 3 trims. And just below the screen, you have your fan control speeds, your temperature, where you want the air to go. It will also tell you on the screen what fan speed you've selected. We live in a time period where some car manufacturers you have to go through the infotainment screens to get to where you want to shoot the air. The Maverick actually has buttons where you could push where you want the air to go, old school style. It gives you a digital reading of what temperature you've selected. There's also a USB and a USB-C style power port outlet at the bottom there, as well as different orange organization storage bins. Okay, moving back, Ford has a drive control knob selector thing. I don't know what you would call it, but I'm not a huge fan of this. I'd rather have a column shift or a floor shift. I mean, I could kind of see where it might come in handy, but I don't like it. I'm not a fan. You got two cup holders off to the right of that, and there's an electric parking brake just to the back of the drive selector mode. Okay, getting inside the rear of the Ford Maverick. As you can see, I'm about 6'2". I have plenty of headroom. This has a lot of amazing headroom. Legroom isn't as great, but the seats concave in to create more legroom, so it's actually pretty comfortable. But the lumbar is actually it's really straight for me. I'm used to like leaning back a little bit. But aside from that, I mean, it's pretty comfortable back here. It is more comfortable back here than my friend had one of them first generation Colorados. I think is the worst truck ever made. One day I'll do an episode on it, but it smelled like somebody just sat there and chain smoked from the factory in this thing. And man, he was just so proud of that thing, but it was the biggest pile of crap I've ever been in. Here's a better look at what the rear seat looks like. Notice there isn't a whole lot of legroom. There aren't any climate control vents or USBs on the back of the console without the Lux package. It's very utilitarian. Ford Maverick seat also folds up to reveal these compartments which you could store stuff in, like basketballs and sporting goods equipment, or if you're a fisher or a hunter or what have you. All kinds of different compartments to store various things into, which is a really nice feature. Okay, before we get on the road and drive it, let's talk about the key. This is the key fob. It's very basic. It's got an unlock button, a lock button, and a panic button. And at the top, it's got this silver button that protrudes out of the black plastic. When you press that, the key releases like a switchblade. Okay, these were my impressions of driving the all-new Maverick. I drove the hybrid power plant model, so that's to take into consideration. It was front wheel drive only. It did not have any torque steer. Sometimes front wheel drive models have torque steer. It didn't have any of that. It was the smoothest riding pickup truck I've ever been in. Some trucks are rougher than others, and other ones, you know, This was so smooth. It's based on the Bronco Sport, so that might have something to do with it. The only thing was, with the hybrid power plant, there was always some sort of hum, and it was a little bit discerning because you're like, what is that noise? Oh yeah, I'm in a hybrid. So I don't know if the electric motor just hums a little bit. This one definitely did. Every time you stopped, you could hear sort of a humming noise. The brakes were really touchy because the hybrid with the electric engine has auto braking, you know, like where it's regenerative braking. So whenever you take your foot off the brake, it's automatically slowing down a little bit. But the brakes were really touchy. Like you didn't have to push them down hardly at all for you to come to a dead stop. We went through various areas where there was snow on the road, and it handled it like a champ. This was my very first time ever driving a hybrid power planted car. So I asked the sales rep, if you run out of gas, do you have the electric motor / battery to get you to the gas station? And the answer is no. They work in unison with one another. So if you're out of gas, you're out of electricity, because the gas engine charges the electric power plant's battery. So once you're out, you're out. I didn't punch it or give it the beans on this drive because there was a lot of ice in various areas that we drove. And contrary to popular belief, but you can't control where you go on ice. So if you hit it on ice, you're pretty much on a ride. And I didn't want to wreck it because this is only one of 9 for sale nationwide Ford Mavericks in the hybrid configuration, and I didn't want to be that guy that wrecked it. For having 191 horsepower, it got up to speed pretty good, I thought, in my opinion. But I'm just a regular guy. I just drive a 52 Chevy 1-ton truck every day. I've never driven a Pagani Zonda or a Bugatti or something to compare it to like that. These other YouTubers that, you know, give ratings out, they compare it to like the fastest car in the world, and that's not what this truck's trying to be. This truck's trying to be cheap, affordable transportation for somebody in the city that wants a truck but doesn't need a truck. This truck is for the person that wants that truck image but gets amazing fuel economy. And that's the perfect segue into the final segment of this video, the pros and cons of the Ford Maverick. Okay, let's talk pros and cons of the Ford Maverick. The pros, it's cheap, gets great gas mileage for what it is, great truck for city slickers, smooth ride for a truck, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. Now over to the cons. High over MSRP asking prices. People are putting 10,000, 15,000 over MSRP prices. We've talked about this in the this versus that video, Ford Maverick versus everything else. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. That one took a long time to put together and it goes over everything. It's an on paper comparison of the Ford Maverick versus everything on offer in the USA today in half ton configuration or a lighter duty half ton truck configuration. They are hard to find. Towing, the front wheel drive model can only tow 2,000 pounds. All wheel drive is a $3,305 option, and then you could tow 4,000 pounds. With my video coming out a lot later than all the other YouTubers, I could see what's good and bad with the Maverick. I'm on different Maverick forums, as I mentioned earlier, and a lot of people have complained about the seat cushion breakdown. Whatever foam they use in the seats, it starts to wear out after more use. I don't know if it's just a one person problem or if it's across the board problem. It's just something to keep in mind. I don't like that stupid shift knob. I would rather have push buttons or a gear selector. I don't like it, but it's totally in what you're into. I just don't like it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe this video. It really means a lot to me. Shoot me a comment in the comment section. What did I get wrong? What did you learn about the Ford Maverick? What do you guys think about the Ford Maverick? Till next time, toodaloo!